Good evening. The Who's today in Sydney were at Warwick Farm. The track was it was given out a slow 6. The rail was in the normal position. In the second last race, the 2200 metre race, of course, Madam Nash led all the way. And even coming down the side, well, ridden by Nash, Nippy Nash, he was a little bit off, but coming around the turn when he had them all off the bit, he was fairly close to the rail and stuck on it, turning for home. Finish up maybe gradually getting out, and might have finished 4 off the fence when they hit the line. The fence, close to the fence, I suppose, on the turn and in the straight today was a little bit inferior. Some runners tried to get up on the inside, but close to the fence, but they weren't able to get home. There were horses that were up near the lead that won, but they were off the fence. Anyway, the first race, they said there was 103.3 on the screen. There was less than 100 in the marketplace, only 99, and this was a big result for the captains. Pit crew, we all thought we were doomed when it was called in second place when they hit the line. I was only watching it on the television, and I must admit, I can't, well, my eyesight's pretty good, especially the long distance. But when they hit the line, it's easy now, of course. But I thought, gee whiz, this is a lot closer than everybody thinks. And in days gone by, I might have said, I'll have you 3 for 1. And when you're allowed to bet on photos. And I think a lot of people might have tumbled into the second horse here, Meteorus. But anyway, that's a lot of rubbish. Of course, the favourite Pit Crew, it was able to. Well, Nash did a bit of a half a Leicester Piggott, I suppose, by stretching its neck as they hit the line, and he just got the bound in and won by the very slender margin. They said they were going to, and the fluctuations on this winner Pit Crew, as I say, was a big result for the captains. It went from $1.70 out to $2.25, 11 to 8 on chance out to 5 to 4. Nobody wanted to be on it. And the second pick, Amavotia, who it beat last start, it went up the 9 to 4 second pick, got out to $3.70, came into 350, back into 350. Starting that price, and he had to, ridden by Horseman Bowman, he had to switch back to the inside closest to the fence. He was in between runners in an awkward position, racing very tight on the turn, as the stewards pointed out, and he only got beat 0.9 of a length, and I suppose his run was fairly good. And we saw Meteorus. They said they were going to ride it closer today, and they did. It went straight to the lead, ridden by Christian Reith. As much as $8 was bet, and he started $6.50. He controlled the race off the fence, coming to the turn, got clear. Even the judge at the half furlong, he got number six out to slide in the frame, and he most probably even slid it in the frame, number 6. But it wasn't the case to be. Because, as I say, we all know now, Pit Crew bobbed in on the line. What else did they back in that race? Well, the bottom one, Velocity Miss, it was $13 into $10. And the second horse, well backed. And the second pick, but the favourite, very hard to lay. Race 2, there was a neat 100 on the screen, 100.1. And that was about the exact right fluctuations. We played Swy, less Toyota Lexus, with the punters in this race. And who got the cash? Schnitzel's Duel. It was another result for the captains. Went up an $8 chance, got out to $8.50 and started that price. The favourite in this race was Short Shift. We put it up the even money favourite, evening money on the field, and it got out to as much as $2.40 or $2.35, and it did start $1.95, a tick under the evens, evening money, and it led and off the fence, ridden by bold Blake Shin, and unfortunately for favourite backers, after straightening and getting clear, very next stride it took, it was gone. And the winner of this race, Schnitzel's Duel, it was sitting third, looking at the two leaders, which were Short Shift and on its outside Exceline. And he went straight through the high diddle diddle in between those two, Father Schofield. And I think he said after the race, I just caught it was the only race that I heard any jockey's comments after the race. He said that I thought I was going to win by 4 lengths. He won by 1.3. It's hung out under pressure a little bit in the straight. It hadn't trialled this runner. It only had the one start at Gosford and got home, where it had every chance. But it was a fairly good win today. And coming from midfield down, I suppose, in the better part of the track was Let's Frolic, who was well backed. At one stage, $11 into $8, but got back out to start around about the $10 mark. The one that was more or less the only one backed in this race for any serious section was the favourite Short Shift. It won at Muswellbrook, and Muswellbrook, ever since they've done that, well, they haven't. When I say they've done the track up a bit, the inside at Muswellbrook, even when the track has been affected in recent times, it's up near the lead is the place to be at Muswellbrook. It's last for a little while now, and that's where, of course, Short Shift raced when it won last start, so it could have been flattered on that day. Race 3. Losing figures on the screen. They'll call the fraud squad the robots. 99.2, and they said, "What are you doing to us?" 99.2 on the screen. 95% only in the marketplace. These were the flux in this race. Titbit, it went from $4.20 out to $6. Acapella, from $8 into $6 at one stage, back out to $7.50. Bugaboo didn't have a price, $4.40 out to $7.50. Cloud Valley, $6 out to $7, back into $6. Dalzira, $8 out to $10, back into $9. Let's Be a Star, the winner, very well backed, $11 into $7. Saramina, 21 out to 31, back to 26, and Queen's Elect also very well backed, $6 into $4.60, back out to $4.80. And when they got to the turn, Delzira led, which was most probably the case on everybody's map. It sat on its outside. Saramina, after doing a little bit of work, it dropped out and ran along last. And the winner, it was in second last or second last position. And they were all full bore, all hard ridden on the turn. And it turned out that Let's Be a Star was just a little bit too, it's coming from New Zealand, where most of its, or nearly all of its runs have been on heavy tracks. It was just a little bit too strong, as I say, and it went through the middle of them in the last 50 metres to stick its neck out and win by 0.3 of a length, beating the very well backed Queen's Elect, who got a good suck third on the fence, got around Delzira, straightening, got to the middle of the track, and looked the winner, I suppose, until it came in between runners. As I say, the winner, Let's Be a Star, to win on near the line. Running third was Titbit, who came from last down the outside, only beaten a half a length, and the top weight, no, I should say Acapella coming from last, and Titbit, who sat fifth, it ran fourth, only beaten 0.8 of a length. So there wasn't much between them. Bugaboo, who was unlayable in the ring from $4.40, as I say, out to $7.50, it stayed close to the fence, getting to the lead, I suppose, after straightening. Might have got a neck in front, but was close to the fence. It ran fifth, beaten 1.1 lengths, and it was in the worst section of the ground. Race 4, they said on the screen 107.2. Well, there was a lot less in the marketplace, 99 only. Mashinko, for a start, the winner, you wouldn't have seen at $6. $5.50 only the best luck. You wouldn't see $5 Canny Ballot, $4.80 best luck, and it goes on. The winner of this of course was the race where first past the post Clever Boy, which came from third last, getting inside runners on the turn, about 3 or 4 off, and then getting up as it was getting up to the leaders. And one of those being the horse that was second past the post, Masahinko, who sat outside the leader, Strength. When it got up inside them, as I say, but still well off the fence, unfortunately for Nippy Nash, it came out and bumped Masahinko, and there was a protest thrown in by Timothy Clark, and it was upheld. I didn't know. I thought maybe. Well, I thought the protest might have been dismissed. The stewards thought differently. They said when he came out and bumped him, he put him off stride, and the winner was he wasn't able to. Clark wasn't able to ride. For a couple of strides, Masahinko out, and therefore and it was coming again. The second horse, so in their eyes, they said yes, but we think the second horse, if you don't come out and bump it, Nippy Nash, we think it would have beaten you. I don't know. I think. Of course, he's bumped him and he's lost his momentum as well. I thought it might have been dismissed myself, but it was upheld, and the captains, I suppose, it started $5 after $5. We put it up the $2.60 favourite, more as a 5-2 chance, and it got out to as much as $6, coming in to only start $5. And I suppose it could have been a losing result for the captain. But the second horse was well backed, as much as $10 was given, only started $8.50. And La Pietra, who sat in 1 out, 1 back position, it was opened up $5, got out to $6, started, it was into $5 at one stage, but got back out to $5.50. And it was a 0.1 by 0.2 of a length when they hit the line. But as we all know now, the protest second against first was upheld, and that was about the race. Race 5, they said there was 102.9 on the screen, 98% only in the marketplace, and pretty famous. How in the hell didn't this horse win 2 starts ago? Will anyone tell me when it ran third at Canterbury, when it crossed, found the bunny, best part of the track, where the leaders were advantaged that day, but it was run down by Bread in Breakfast, and whoever it was who ran second, and it ran third. And of course, we saw it come out at Canterbury on Wednesday and sit outside the leader and just hang on, where there were a few unlucky runners in the race. and today went through and led, but of course there was no pace in this race. They said that Gullible, the runner that we put up favourite, was to be ridden closer today. Well, he settled back in third last position, trying to, I suppose, get it up near the lead, but it just didn't have the pace, and it was going to run, drop right out towards the when they were on the turn. Gullible, when it finished up, it ran third, coming down the outside, or wide-ish anyway, but going straight, leading Pretty Famous and not setting a real fast pace with Give My Regards on its outside and Chow, number 3, on their outside. And before the turn, Chow had come across and found the lead clearly by itself, causing a bit of interference, unfortunately, to Give My Regards. I think Bold Blake Shin might have copped a little holiday. He'll most probably go to Acapulco for a couple of weeks. Anyway, it crossed and led, and then the rider of Pretty Famous, Lester Grace, the 3 kilo boy, when they turned for home, Chow was still well off the fence. He just gave this filly a dig in the ribs, and she went out after Chow and went straight past it and finished up winning by 4 lengths. It was a very easy win. Chow ran second, and as I say, Gullible plugged into third hole. It got trapped wide in the run. Sweet Little Lies. All the others more or less had their chance. The winner, the best run in the race. Race 6, 101.7 on the screen, 96% only in the marketplace. And another big result, although if you gave the $7, which was bet, about Charing Cross, you might have lost on it. We put it up the $4, 3 to 1, 3 to 1 bar, we said, Charing Cross, and it got out to as much as I say, $7 and started $6. It blew, and if you didn't give the $7, it could have been a very good result for the captains. It sat 4th on the fence. Wild and Proud came across and led. On its outside was Calvo. Nippy Nash on the winner, tucked away, caused a little bit of interference turning for home. He just went around the 2 leaders' heels as they were turning, pushed it more, just angled off the fence, angled off. They were a little bit off the fence, and it was on its outside. Namsarai, he was able to get in between them very easily, pushing it a little bit wide, and also the favourite Sacred Flyer, who finished up running second, beaten the length, and the leader, Wild and Proud, finished a bit close to the fence in the straight, and he was beaten 2 lengths. And sitting in 4th position, Namsarai held on for 4th. The other 5 runners all crossed the line together, about 3 to 4, 3.5 lengths away altogether, as I say. The winner, it was a good win. The favourite, Sacred Flyer, even though it copped a little bit of a check on the turn, the winner was a better run than it, and it was fairly hard to lay. As I say, we only bet 96% in this race in the marketplace. At one stage, you could have laid Sacred Flyer at the $4. We put it up $3.50 favourite, got out to $4.20, back into about $3.80, but got back out to start $4.60. You couldn't give it away at the finish. What did they back? Well, Namsarai was backed as much as $9, and he started $7. Mr. Armstrong, $9, and started $8. They took 21 Viking Legend. The rest, it was $10 into about $8, $8.50. Calvo, they took $11, started 9. 2 High Tech didn't have a price, $10 out to 16. Was no good, and I suppose if you gave 7, the winner was no good, but it was more or less a result for the captains. Race 7, 103.9 on the screen, 97 only in the marketplace. This was won by Madam Nash and ridden by Nash, Nippy Nash, and he showed Nip at the just after the 800-metre race. He started to quicken, and when they got to the 600, he had them all off the bit, and he was 5 lengths clear. We put it up well now, for a start, the SP on Madam Nash is $4, a 3-to-1 chance. Opening quote $3.50 out to $4 on the screen. When they jumped, you could have had $4.40 on the fence and $4.60 in the outside ring with no takers in sight. Was $4.60 unlayable, and it, I'd say, was a result for the captains, although the favourite, Need the Dough, the 3-year-old filly, it was liable at one stage for whatever you wanted after opening up a 10-to-9 chance, about $2.10. It got out to $2.50, and which was taken for whatever you want, as I say, at one stage, but it started $2.60 Need the Dough. And what else was backed in this race? Well, Zaza Binks, it halved its price, $10 into $6, a 9-to-1 chance into 5-to-1. Platinum Jack was liable at 15. Lehigh was 40 into 20. They took 30 at one stage T for 2, although it started that price. And Martinvist, they took $8, started 7. And when they got to Nash controlled the race going out of the out on the circle. When they swung into the side straight, as I say, when he just got past the 800, he was 3 lengths clear there, and then he quickened a little bit, and all of a sudden he was 5 to 6 lengths in front. And when they hit the 600-metre mark, he hadn't gone that hard, and the 600 metres to go, and all of the other runners, it was chasing Need the Dough on its outside Martinus, and behind it T for 2, and he had them. Well, he had every runner in the race off the bit chasing, and it was quite evident on the turn. And as I said earlier on, he was close to the fence on the turn, but got a little bit wide in the straight to finish 4 or 5 off, and the race was more or less over. The others weren't making ground on Madam Nash, and it got the biscuits. It won by 5 lengths. We came to the last race, and this was most probably one of the best back runners, or if not the best back runner all day. Wasn't the winner. It was the favourite, Emblems. We put it up a $3 chance, 2-to-1 the field, we said. Got out to as much as $3.70. I was $2.60 when they jumped, returned at $2.50. Very, very well backed. There were lots of runners in this race that didn't have prices. The winner did have a price, Upshot, as much as, I think I might have seen 7. Well, for a start, they said there was 102.7 on the screen, a few less in the marketplace, about 100. Say $6.50 the winner was bet, Upshot, only started $5.50, 9-to-2 chance. And what else was backed in this race? Zakynthos Imprints got out, got out in the market. So did Motspur, so did New Day Rising. Snitsky, they took $10 and $9.50. Upshot, $6.50 and $5.50. River of Salvation, $15. Fireball, they took 9, $400 the next. 41, 51. Australian Star, 26. All About Glory, 17, $19. G Me Up. A lot of that, most of those runners unlayable. Only the winner and the favourite were more or less the 2 that they found, and it was a little bit too good for them. Upshot. It led in this race. McClintock, sitting on its outside, was the second horse, Snitsky. Tucked in behind them, you had River of Salvation and G Me Up, and also All About Glory. And on their back, more or less, was the favourite, and more or less on the favourite's back was the winner. And when they turned for home, Snitsky had got past McClintock fairly easily, and it was up to the favourite coming off their heels. He put in a bit of a quick burst, but then there wasn't much there, and getting to its outside was the winner, Upshot. and it got past the favourite fairly easy and went out after Snitsky, who, like its stablemate earlier in the day, trained by Ryan, Schnitzel's duel, and hadn't trialled, and Snitsky it got clear, but Upshot was able to run it down, beating it by about a long head or 0.2 of a length on the line, and they got away from the others. It was 2¼ lengths back, 2½ lengths back to the favourite Emblems, having every possible chance running third. It made up a bit of ground coming down the outside, Fireball into 5th place, and sucking up behind them after drawing barrier 2 was River of Salvation, stuck on fairly well, even though it had barrier 2. It was off the fence in the straight. That was about the meeting. It was we had the usual suspects, and of course, all the captains were there to accommodate anybody who wanted to have a bet, and we, of course, bet very, very thin margins in Sydney, as you know, all the time. It's a punter's paradise. I can't work out why there's not a big fence around the outside of the track, not stopping people to get in, because it's very easy to win punting in Sydney because of the figures that bookies bet. But anyway, that's the way it is with with all of the other avenues that punters have got these days. Anyway, if you are betting, or as Mo Conlon would say, wire knitting, I hope you won. Good evening.